Right. This morning our topic will be again on Gog and Magog, and Magog is mentioned in the genealogies of Genesis 10 as well as 1 Chronicles 1. Magog is mentioned alongside his brothers Meshech, Tubal, and Gomer, plus a few others. Most Bible prophecy teachers place Tubal, Gomer, Togarmah, and Meshech in today's Turkey. But many Christian preachers and teachers say that Magog in the Ezekiel 38 refers to Russia. This view came about by transcribing chief, or the Hebrew Rosh, which means first or primary, to mean Russia. Ezekiel 38, 1 through 3. They also teach that Meshech is Moscow and Tubal is Tobolsk, which are cities or locations within Russia. Magog, Meshech, Tubal, Gomer, and Togarmah are all people. They're all relatives. Magog, Meshech, Tubal, and Gomer are brothers. Togarmah is Gomer's son. They are among the first families to resettle the world after the devastation of Noah's flood. So Genesis 10, 1 through 3. Now these are the generations of the son of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth was Gomer, and Magog, and Magi, and Yavan, and Tubal, and Meshech, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer as Kenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. See, Magog, Meshech, Tubal, and Gomer are all sons of Japheth. Japheth and his sons are all settled in today's Turkey. You could all call Yosef or Joseph, which is in the King James and those, the king of Turkey. His sons are all princes. Magog was the chief or the most prominent prince amongst his brothers. See, princes were set over provinces. We see witness of this in the Oxford Bible Atlas, which says of Meshech and Tubal, they are regions in Asia Minor, Turkey. In the Tanakh, or the Old Testament scholars, Daniel L. Block, in the New International Commentary on Ezekiel, says, it seems best to interpret Magog as a contradiction of an original Mat Gogi, which means the land of Gog. And to see here is a reference of the territory of Lydia in western Anatolia, which is in Turkey. The Zondervan Illustrated Bible Dictionary says Magog, possibly meaning the land of Gog, was no doubt in Asia Minor or Turkey, and may refer to Lydia. The IV Bible Background Commentary lists Magog, Meshech, Tubal, and Togarmah as sections of people in Asia Minor, Turkey. And the New Unger Bible Dictionary, under the entry for Magog, it states it clear that Lydia or Turkey is meant, and that by Gog or Magog we must understand that the land of Gog. So Magog is the land of Gog. Zondervan Illustrated Bible Background Commentary places Magog in Anatolia or modern-day Turkey. The Catholic Encyclopedia says it seems more probable that Magog should be identified with Lydia or Turkey. On the other hand, as Meshech and Tubal were nations belonging to Asia Minor, it would seem for the text of Ezekiel that Magog must be in the part of the world. Finally, others with Joseph identity Magog and with Scythia, which in antiquity, this name was used to designate vaguely any nation or any northern population. Of Rome, one of the most important Christian theologians of the 3rd century, in his Chronicon connected Magog to the Galatians in Asia Minor. See, Plinley, the elder, a 1st century Roman military commander, author, naturalist, and philosopher, placed Magog on the border of Syria and modern-day Turkey. It's interesting you start hearing these names because they're all playing out in the Middle East today. Maimonides, also known as Rambam, the revered Hebrew sage, in Hitchcock Thermo also identified Magog as being on the border of modern-day Turkey. Mark Hitchcock places Meshech and Tubal in modern-day Turkey. Author Joel C. Rosenberg also places both Meshech and Tubal in modern-day Turkey. So there's many references of modern-day scholars and believers that see that it is where Turkey is what we're talking about here. So Ezekiel 38, 1 through 3. And the word of Yahuah came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus says Yahuah Alahym, Behold, I am against you, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Now, let's allow Scripture to interpret Scripture. The same theme of princes settling and ruling over provinces in a land is used in many other places in Scripture. The princes of Israel are mentioned a bunch of times. Princes of other nations are also mentioned in 1 Samuel 29, 3, 2 Samuel 10, verse 3, Esther 1 and 3, Esther 1, 14, Psalm 68, 31, Psalms 83, 11, Isaiah 19, 11, Isaiah 23, 8, Isaiah 49, 7, Jeremiah 25, 19, Jeremiah 38, 18, Ezekiel 26 and 16, Ezekiel 27 and 21, Daniel 3 and 3, Matthew 20 and 25, 1 Corinthians 2, verse 6, plus many other verses. See, princes typically refer to the sons of rulers. Here's an example of how princes are typically set over provinces in other countries. We see in Esther 1:14. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, and Maratha, Tarshish, Marish, Marsena, and Memucan, and 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. So Magog was the son of Joseph. Now, Joseph was the king of what we know as Turkey today. So Magog and his brothers ruled over different provinces in the land we call Turkey today. See, Magog was the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. In other words, Magog was the most prominent prince amongst his brothers. Remember that Meshech and Tubal settled in today's Turkey. In prophetic terms, Magog is the primary governor of Turkey. In Ezekiel chapter 38, Turkey leads an invasion into Israel, along with Libya, Iran, and Sudan. Again, all those nations we see are now united together in agreement, which I don't know that that's happened in history. Maybe another thing I'll have to look into, but where they're all linked together and unified together, it's pretty scary, actually, to think about all that. And all of these nations are fighting in Syria today. So in Ezekiel 39, the chief prince of Turkey leads the battle of Armageddon. Current world events are resembling the 2,500-year-old scripture prophecy made by Ezekiel in chapters 38 and 39. Ezekiel foresaw the rise of Gog and Magog, which many believe is either Russia or Turkey. I happen to believe the evidence points to Turkey. It depends on the interpretation. In a coalition with other Middle Eastern countries, Sudan, Ethiopia, and Libya. See, Gog and Magog, which is the Hebrew Gog of Magog, in the Hebrew scriptures may be individuals, peoples, or lands, and prophesied enemies, nations of Yahuah's people, according to the book of Ezekiel. And one of the nations, according to Genesis, descended from Yosef of Noah. Magog was a grandson of Noah, according to Genesis 10, verse 2. The descendants of Magog settled to the far east of Israel, likely in Europe, northern Asia. Magog seems to be used to refer northern barbarians in general, but likely also has a connection to Magog the person. The people of Magog are described as skilled warriors, according to Ezekiel 38:15, as well as 39:3-9. Joseph, meaning enlarge, is one of the sons of Noah in the Abrahamic tradition. In Arabic citations, his name is normally given as Yosef bin Nun, which means Yosef, son of Noah. In scriptural tradition, Yosef is considered to be the progenitor of European and some Asian peoples. In medieval Europe, various nations and ethnicities were given genealogy tracing back to Yosef and his descendants. The Book of Jubilees, from about the same time, makes 3 references to either Gog or Magog. In the first, Magog is the descendant of Noah, as in Genesis 10. In the second, Gog is a region next to Yosef's borders. And in the third, a portion of Yosef's land is assigned to Magog. The first century Liber Antiochum Biblicarum, which retells scriptural history from Adam to Saul, is notably for listing and naming 7 of Magog's sons and mentions his thousands of descendants. The Samaritan Torah and the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, occasionally introduce the name of Gog where the Hebrew originally has something else, or uses Magog where the Hebrew has Gog, indicating that the names were interchangeable in some way. So chapters 19, 11-21, and the book of Revelations, dating from the end of the 1st century AD, tells how Hasatan is to be imprisoned for 1,000 years, and how, on his release, he will rally the nations in the 4 corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to a final battle with the Messiah and his chosen. When the 1,000 years are over, Hasatan will be released from his prison and will go out and deceive the nations in the 4 corners of the earth. This is the Gog and the Magog, and gather them for battle. In a number, they are like the sand of the seashore. See, the Gog prophecy is meant to be fulfilled at the approach of what is called the end of days, but not necessarily the end of the world. See, the Hebrew eschatology views Gog and Magog as enemies to be defeated by the Messiah, Ben Yosef, or the son Joseph, the son of Joseph, the Messiah, son of Joseph, which will usher in the age of the true Messiah. To Gog and Magog were also attached to legends that come out of the Roman period, that they were people contained beyond the gates of Alexandria, or Alexander, which was erected by Alexander the Great. See, Romanized Hebrew historian Josephus knew them as the tribe descended from Magog, the Josephites, as in Genesis, and explained them to be the Scythians. The Scythians are also known as the Scyths, the Saka, and a number of their spellings in there, the Akazui, were the large group of Iranian Eurasian nomads who were mentioned by the literate people surrounding them as inhabiting large areas in the central Eurasia steppes from about the 9th century BC until about the 1st century BC. The Scythian languages belong to the eastern branch of the Iranian languages. The ancient Scythians, also known as the ancient Greek historians, were located in the northern Black Sea and Four Caucasus regions. See, Gog and Magog appear in the Quran also as Ujai or Mages. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but doing my best here. Which they say is the adversaries of Dua Quran, widely educated as Alexander, with Alexander the Great in Islam. See, Muslim geographers identify them with Turkish tribes in Central Asia and also with the Mongols. Gog and Magog are referred to in Ezekiel 38 and 39 and also in Revelations 20, 7 and 8. While these two instances carry the same names, a close study of Scripture clearly demonstrates that they do not refer to the same people or events. In Ezekiel's prophecy, Gog will be the leader of the great army that attacks the land of Israel. Gog is described as the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshech, and Tubal, Ezekiel 38, 2 through 3. Ezekiel's battle of Gog and Magog occurs in the tribulation period, more specifically, probably in the first 3.5 years. The strongest evidence for this view is that the attack will come when Israel is at peace, according to Ezekiel 38, 8 through 11. See, the description for Ezekiel is that of a nation that has security and has laid down its defenses. Israel is definitely not at peace now, and it's inconceivable that the nation would lay down its defenses apart from some major event. So when Israel's covenant with the beast or the anti-Messiah is in effect at the beginning of Daniel's 70th week, also known as the 7-year tribulation, in Daniel 9:27, Israel will be at peace. Possibly the battle will occur just before the midpoint of the 7th year period, according to Ezekiel. Gog will be defeated by Yahushua on the mountains of Israel. The slaughter will be so great, it will take 7 months to bury all of the dead, according to Ezekiel 39, 11 through 12. Gog and Magog are mentioned again in Revelations 20 and 7 through 8. But the duplicated use of the names Gog and Magog in Revelations 8 and 9 is to show that these people demonstrate the same rebellion against Yahuwah and antagonism towards Yahuwah as those in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Now, if it's the leader of this revolt, very well, a lot of people believe that is the Antichrist, as they say, anti-Messiah, the one that's going to come and lead this. So this person most likely is going to be coming out of the area of Turkey, in that region. See, the book of Revelation uses Ezekiel's prophecy about Magog to portray a final end times attack on the nation of Israel, Revelations 28 and 9. The result of this battle is that all are destroyed, and Hasatan will find his final place in the lake of fire, according to Revelations 20, verse 10. It's important to recognize that the Gog and the Magog of Ezekiel 38 and 39 is quite different from the one in Revelations 27 through 8. I'll show some of the more obvious reasons why these refer to different people and battles. In the battle of Ezekiel 38 and 39, the armies come primarily from the north and involve only a few nations of the earth. Ezekiel 38, 6, 15, 39, and verse 2. The battle in Revelations 27:9 will involve all nations, so armies will come from all directions, not just from the north. There is no mention of Hasatan in the context of Ezekiel 38 and 39. In Revelations 27, the context clearly places the battle at the end of the millennium with Hasatan as the primary character. Ezekiel 39, 11 and 12 states that the dead will be buried for 7 months. There will be no need to bury the dead if the battle in Ezekiel 38, 39 is the one described in Revelations 20, 8 through 9. For immediately following Revelations 28 and 9 is the great white throne judgment, verse 27, 11 through 15. And then the current or present heaven and earth are destroyed and replaced by a new heaven and earth, Revelations 21, 1. There obviously will be a need to bury a dead if the battle takes place in the early part of the tribulation, for the land of Israel will be occupied for another 1,000 years, the length of the millennial kingdom, according to Revelations 24 through 6. See, the battle in Ezekiel 38 and 39 is used by Yahuah to bring Israel back to him, Ezekiel 39, 21 through 29. I believe that's what he's doing right now, is bringing his people back. In Revelations 20, Israel has been faithful to Yahuah for 1,000 years, the millennial kingdom. Those in Revelation 27 to 10 who are rebellious are destroyed without any more opportunity for repentance. Ezekiel 38, I'm going to break down 38 and 39 verse by verse so that we can actually see what it's saying here and what it means, so that we can get a clear interpretation ourselves of the Hebrew words that are going to be used. So we'll just go ahead and break this down. In verse 1, the word of Yahuah came unto me, Ezekiel, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog in the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Gog is the name of an Israelite, also a leader of a nation, a northern nation. Magog, perhaps the land of Gog, a son of Yosef, also his descendants and their land. Meshech, which means drawing out, the sixth son of Yosef, according to Genesis 10:2, the founder of a tribe, 1 Chronicles 1:5, Ezekiel 27:13, Ezekiel 38:2, as well as Ezekiel 38:3. Tubal was the grandson of Noah. His father was named Yosef. In verse 3, say, thus saith Yahuah, your Alahym, behold, I am against you, O Gog, and the prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn you back and put hooks in your jaws, and will bring you forth, and all of your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. The phrase, I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaw, has been a point of controversy for many preachers. To me, that means that if he's been there, I will turn you back. He had to be there at one time to turn him back. And he's going to do that by putting hooks in his jaws, and he will draw them forth to destroy them. And we're going to see a little bit more why and who this could be speaking of. The next word there is turn. The Strong 7725 is shuab, meaning to turn away or back, not necessarily with the idea of returning to the starting point, to retreat, to do evil, draw back, come again, or cause to turn. Hooks, Strong's 2397. Shaike, meaning put a ring in the nose, like to lead a bull. Bring, 33:18. Yascha, meaning to draw forth, to fetch out, to lead out, or to pull out. Forth, which is Strong's 33:18, the same Hebrew word and meaning as bring. Clothe in 38:47, labesh, meaning to put on or clothe oneself. Sorts, miklol, meaning all sorts of splendid armor. Armor, 36:27. Cloud, meaning armed dress, notice that even the horses are armored. We must realize here that Ezekiel was speaking of war terms, of what he knew and understood. Know about tanks and planes and airborne attacks. When he visualized heavily armored horses, he was thinking in terms of what we would today call armored forces. Company 6951, kahal, meaning multitude. Bucklers is 6793. Tinah, meaning a large shield which covers the body. Again, thinking in terms of armored personnel carriers. Handling, number 8610. Tophaz, meaning a wielding or manipulating. So the translation that we could come up with here is says, I, Yahuah, will turn you, Magog, away from where you were going, and will put a ring in your nose and draw you forth with all of your military might. This is to be an all-out military effort, your armored forces with all of your weapons. Verse 5, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with spears and helmets. The allies are clearly mentioned here, Persia, which is now Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya. Gomar with all of his bands, the house of Togarmah in the north quarters, and all of his bands, and many peoples with you. Gom is a Hebrew, or Strong's 1586. Gomar meaning son of Yosef, who was believed to be settled in what we know is Serbia, or in the Turkish beliefs that it would be in Turkey. Bands, which is the Strong's 102, Agaf, meaning to cover, wings or flank forces of an army, crowds of troops. House, Bevith, meaning family of. Togarmah, Togarmah meaning a son of Gomar in his prosperity. North is 6828, Tagaphon, meaning a dark and gloomy place in the northern. The quarters, Yaraka, meaning rear, border, or coast. Verse 7, be you prepared, and prepare yourself and all your company that is assembled unto you, and be you on guard unto them. Prepare is 3559, Quam, meaning established, prepare yourself. Company 6951, Qual, meaning the multitude. Assembled 6950, Mizmar, meaning a prison or a ward. So if we translate, be you, Gog, prepared, or prepare yourself, and all your multitude, which are gathered together unto you, and keep them under guard. Verse 8, after many days you shall be visited, in the later years you shall come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many peoples, against the mountains of Israel, which have always been waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. The word visited, 6485, Pagu, meaning to visit with hostile intent. Later years, 319, Achav, meaning the last days in the future or the end times. Mountains is 2022, Har, meaning the hill country. The word mountains often means peoples in scripture also. Waste, 2723. Charba, meaning by implication, a desolate place. Brought forth, 3818. Yasu, meaning to bring out. The nations, Goy, or Goroi, meaning Gentile tribes or non-Hebrew people. To dwell, 3427. Yasab, meaning to remain or continue. Safely, and 983. Betah, meaning boldly, without care, with confidence. So to translate this, after many days, Yom, meaning a space of time, age, days, seasons. After many seasons, you shall move with hostile intent into the land that is brought back from war, and is gathered from many nations against the people or nations of Israel. And the mountains which have been always been a desolate, uninhabited place, but which is brought out of the nations or Gentiles or the non-Hebrew nations, and they shall continue in safety, living boldly without care and with confidence. Verse 9, ascend, 59:27, alo, meaning to come up or to get up or to go. The storm, 77:22, shoah, meaning the tempest. The cloud, 60:51, anan, meaning like a cloud covers the sky. To cover is 36:80, yom, meaning overwhelm. So to translate this, you shall come up like a tempest, like a cloud you shall cover the sky and the land, you, all of your bands with you. Could this mean an airborne invasion? I believe it could, since it is a perfect description of such an event. Of course, Ezekiel did not know about parachute troops, so he used words like would understand to show them that something would take place which would literally cloud the sky with enemy soldiers. Excuse me. Verse 10, to pass, 56:74, abar, meaning to cross over, overrun, to meddle or overrun, to enter. Time, 31:77, there's a yom, meaning a day. Things, 16:97, dubar, meaning a matter, harmful, evil favored, a cause. Mind, 38:24, lebab, meaning the heart. Think, 28:03, shabab, meaning plot, to conceive, to consider, or to imagine. Evil, 74:51, ra, meaning bad or harmful, mischievous or wicked. Thoughts, 42:84, makabeshta, meaning contrivance, a machine, a curious device. So this verse has some interesting possibilities in the original Hebrew. And it might read something like this. This says Yahuah Alahym, it shall come about that on that day a certain matter shall come into your heart, and you shall consider a harmful thought according to a military device you have in your possession. Wonder what that device might be. Verse 11, up, 46:05, ma'al, meaning above or upward. The land, 776. Eretz, meaning the land, the country, or nations. Unwalled, 65:19. Praza, meaning a town without walls or open country. Villages, 65:19. Praza, meaning a town. Rest, 82:52. Shakot, meaning repose or living in apathy. To dwell, 34:27. Yashab, meaning abide. Safely, 983. Betash, meaning with security. The bars, 1280. Brisha, meaning bolts. Take, 962. Bazar, meaning to spoil, to destroy utterly, or to plunder. The spoil, 7998. Sha'al, meaning to strip or to take booty. Desolate, 27:23. Sharba, meaning to a destroyed place, a waste place, uninhabited place. Places is 47:25. Migna, meaning locality or a country. Inhabited, 34:27. Yashab, meaning to dwell, to remain as permanently. A people, 59:71. And meaning a tribe or a nation. Gathered, 622. Akap, meaning to assemble or bring together. The nations, 1471. Goyer or Goy, meaning a non-Hebrew, a tribe or a nation. To dwell is 34:27. Yashab, meaning same as inhabited above. So to translate this, you shall say, I will come upward to a country or towns without walls. I will go to them that live safely in apathy, to abide with security, all of them living without bolts or bars on their doors. Verse 12, to take, 962, bazaz, meaning to plunder, to spoil utterly, or to rob. Can also be 7997, sha'al, meaning to strip, to plunder for the purpose of spoiling. Spoil is a 7998. It's sha'al, meaning to strip or to plunder. Turn, 7725. Shuab, meaning to do evil or to carry away. Han, 3027. Yad, meaning power or force. Upon, 5921. Al, meaning against. Desolate, 2737. Places that are uninhabited. Places is 4725. Mek'am, meaning a locality, a country. Now, 6258. Ata, meaning at this time. Inhabited, 3427, which is Yashab, meaning established or dwelling. Upon, 5921. Al, meaning against. The peoples, 5971, and meaning peoples or tribes of those of Israel or a nation. The gather, 622. Akwa, meaning gathered for the purpose of assemble. The English word gathered is used 7 times in the book of Ezekiel, yet it has 4 different meanings. That's interesting. The word out, 4480, meaning from, out of. Nations, 1471, agoy or goyim, meaning non-Hebrew nations or people or nations. Gotten, 6213, ashah, meaning brought forth, have changed of, or gathered, or procured. Cattle, 4735. Migna, meaning property, acquisition of capital, of cattle, of flocks, of herds, of possessions, of substance. Note this word does not necessarily refer to animals, but to a great possession. Goods, 7075. Gimyon, meaning creatures or wealth or riches or substance. To dwell, 3427. Yashab, meaning to remain, abide, inhabit, or settle. In the midst, Tubar, meaning to pile up, accumulate in the middle. Or land, 776. Eretz, meaning the earth, a country, nations, wilderness. See, the English word land is used 151 times in the book of Ezekiel, but it has 2 major meanings, yet the same word is used in each instance. So if we translate it, may read, to come for the purpose of plundering the land and to strip it, to do evil with your forces against the uninhabited country, which is at the time established, and upon the tribes of Israel, who have been gathered for a purpose, out of many non-Hebrew nations, which have procured much property, flocks, herds, and possessions, and who have settled down in the midst of the wilderness. We'll continue with verse 13. Sheba, 7614, which meaning the name of the 3 early ancestors of the Ethiopians, sometimes called Sabines. The Dedan, 1719. The Dedon, meaning the name of 2 Cushites and their territory mentioned in Ezekiel 25:13 as part of Edom, the natural enemies of Israel. The loins, Kepher, meaning young lions, also villages. Spoils, 7998. Shalon, meaning the booty or prey. Prey in 957, which is Baz, meaning plunder or booty. Gathered, 622. Akaf, meaning to assemble, to restore, gather. See, the English word gathered is also used in verse 9 where it means collected, gathered themselves together. Company in 6951, kahal, meaning multitude or assemblage. To carry, 5375. Na'ak, meaning to bring forth, to burn, to carry away, to fetch, to take away utterly. The English word carry is used 5 times in the book of Ezekiel, but has 3 different meanings. See, great, Strong's 1419. Godal, meaning great in any sense, exceedingly or much. So we could translate this verse to say the Ethiopians and Edomites and the merchants of Tarish, a great seaport on the Mediterranean Sea, with all the villages or towns thereof shall say unto you, have you come to take booty? Have you assembled your multitudes to take a prey? The baz, meaning booty, to carry away silver and gold, which is representative of great wealth, and to take a great booty of cattle and goods, to take exceedingly much booty. Verse 14, prophesy, which is word 50:12. Naba, meaning to foretell the future through inspiration. The dwellers 34:27, Yasha, meaning to abide, inhabit, and to remain. Safely 983, Betah, the same as in verse 8, meaning both the fact and the feel of security, assurance, without care, confidence, or surely. No, 30:45, Yada, the same word as is used in verse 16 and 23, meaning to recognize, to feel, to have knowledge of, or to understand. So we could translate this to read, therefore, Son of Man, prophesy by my Alahym's inspiration, and say unto God, this saith Yahuah Alahym, in that day when my people Yisrael live in security without care, surely you shall have knowledge of it. Verse 15, come, 935, the same word as used in verse 8, 9, 13, and 15. A bow, meaning to besiege or to invade. It is interesting to note that the English word come is used 10 times in the 38th chapter. 5 times it is used the Hebrew word bow. Twice it is 1961, haya. And 3 times, 59:27, Allah, to go up or to ascend or to climb. Of course, we know. Place 47:25, Mekon, meaning locality or country. Out 44:80, meaning out of. The north 68:28, Tafan, meaning used only by the far north, a gloomy, unknown place to the north. And I believe this is also why a lot of people believe this is Russia. But I believe Turkey has the same type of similar climate. So parts 34:11, Yareka, meaning border or coast. Many 72:77, same as in 6, 8, 9, 15, 22, and 23, meaning abundance of, the multitude of people. 59:71, am, the same word used 8 times in this chapter, meaning a specific tribe or nation, troops or nations. Riding 73:92, rekab, meaning riding on an animal or a vehicle, or horseback in a vehicle. Company 69:51, kahal, meaning a multitude. Mighty 72:27, and that's the same as in verse 15. Rab, meaning exceedingly great. Army 24:28. Qua'il, meaning bands of soldiers, great forces of armed men, a huge force indicating war. So when we put this together, we get the verse that reads something like this. Arise, you shall come from your country, out of the gloomy places of the north, you and the nations with you, a multitude exceedingly great, a huge force prepared for war. Verse 16, come, 59:27, al, meaning ascend, cause to come up. Place 47:25, mak'al, meaning locality or country. Against 59:21, al, meaning upon or against. A cloud 60:51, an, meaning as a cloud covers the sky, a dark thundercloud covering the sky. Covers 36:80, kasha, meaning to conceal, to hide, or to overwhelm. The land 776, eretz, meaning a country nation. To bring 935, which is the bow, meaning to bring forth, a call, to come against or to invade. The heathen 47:71, the goy or the goy, meaning Gentiles or non-Hebrew nations or nations. To know 30:45, yada, meaning recognize, observe, or acknowledge. To sanctify 69:42, kudash, meaning to consecrate, to dedicate, to proclaim, to purify oneself. The eyes, 58:69, ayin, meaning the face, the presence, or the sight. So we could translate this to say, and you, Gog, shall come upon my people of Israel as a dark thundercloud to cover the nations. It shall come later in the later, which is the 319, Ashana, meaning future. And I, Yahuah, will bring upon my nation, that the Gentile nations may recognize me, Yahuah, when I, Yahuah, shall be consecrated in you, O God, before their eyes. Ayin, meaning presence. Verse 17, old, which is 69:31. Quadmilim, meaning ancient or old. The time, 31:17. Yom, meaning days past or at other times. Spoken, 1692. Debar, meaning to declare, to pronounce, the promised, or to talk of. Servants, 56:50. Ebed, meaning the servants or a bondman. Prophets, Nabia, meaning the predicted by inspiration. Prophesied, 50:12. Naba, meaning predicted by inspiration. Those, 1992. Ben Ma, meaning used only when emphatic or specific. Days, 31:17. Yom, meaning a day gone by or other days. Many, 72:27. Rab, meaning long time or process of time. Years, 81:41. Shana, meaning the whole age. Brings, 9:35. To the bow, bringing or bring forth, to call, to come against, go to war or to invade. Against, 59:21. All, meaning upon or against. So to translate this, it says, thus saith Yahuah Alahym, the Alahym of Israel, are those he of whom I, Yahuah, have talked of in ancient days past, by my bondservants, those who predicted the future by my inspirations, which predicted in those days, many years ago, that I, Yahuah, would cause you to go to war against them. Notice something of great importance. The war is something Yahuah has planned and predicted by his prophets. It is to be a war which will quicken his people to awaken from their slumber. In Psalms 2:1-3, we read of this time. Why do the heathen age and the people imagine a vain thing? The kinds of earth set themselves, and rulers take counsel together against Yahuah and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. Here we have an excellent description of what is happening in the world today. Psalms 83:2-6, as well as 15, 17, and 18. To see why these armies are, for lo, your Yahuah's enemies make tumult or great confusion, and they that hate you, Yahuah, have lifted their heads. They have taken crafty counsel against your people and have consulted against you. Hidden, which is the word tafan, meaning favored ones. They, Gog, and the alliance have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Seems like we've heard this being spoken in our current day. For they have consulted together with one consent, unanimous approval. They are confident against you, Yahuah. Notice now who these enemies are, according to verse 6. The tabernacle of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Haggitines. These were children of Abraham through their father Esau. Genesis 25 records that Rebekah bore Isaac, paternal twin sons, Esau, whose name was changed to Edom, and Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. While still in the womb, the two sons of Isaac struggled together, or within her. Yahuah explained this rivalry to Rebekah. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 manners of people shall be separated from your bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder Esau shall serve the younger Jacob. Genesis 25, verse 23. Soon after the 2 boys had grown, this promise had been to find its fulfillment. Genesis 25. It relates that Esau sold his birthright to Jacob for a bowl of red beans. Genesis 27 relates that the particle baraka, or the blessing, also became the possession of Jacob. As a result of the subsequent bitterness and jealousy, Esau would have destroyed Jacob and had Yahuah not intervened. The struggle of nations, which began in Rebekah's womb, continued as these 2 boys grew to manhood, and it endures today in the modern-day descendants. Ezekiel 35:5 and Amos 1:11 speaks of the Edomites, perpetual hatred and wrath forever towards Israelites. But who is who in the continuing saga? It is recorded in Genesis 36 that Esau is Edom, and that he was the father of the Edomites. The Ishmaelites, a people frequently mentioned in Scripture, for example, in Genesis 37:25 and in Judges 8 and 24, they were Arab nomads who traded with Egypt. According to Genesis 25:12 and 18, the Ishmaelites, like the Israelites, were divided into 12 tribes and pitched their tents in northern Arabia as far as the borders of Egypt and Assyria. The Arabs themselves derived their descent from Ishmael, Ishmaelites. But let's back to the prophecy of Psalms 83:15. And David's curse upon the enemies of Yahuah and Israel. So persecute them with your attempts and make them afraid with your storm. Ezekiel 38:22. Yahuah destroys these enemies of Israel. Verse 17 says, let them, Yahuah's enemies, be confounded and the troubles forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish. Compare this to Luke 19:27, where Yahusha predicts the end of his enemies. On to verse 18. Come, 1961. Haya, meaning be accomplished or to happen. Also means the Yah. Pass, 56:74. Abar, meaning to cause to or to make. Same, 1931. Here, meaning that. Time, 31:77. Yom, meaning day, space of time, space of days or season. Come, 9:35. Bo, meaning enter into war. Against, 59:21. Al, meaning against. The land, 127. Adamah, meaning country. The fury, 25:34. Chama, meaning anger or rage or wrath. Compare this usage with that of Daniel 11:44, where the same word is used and which speaks about the same historical occurrence. But tiding out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him, the leader of the Gog forces. Therefore he shall go out with a great fury, a rage or an anger, to destroy many. Come, 59:27. Allah, meaning rise up, the cause to burn, to increase or to stir up. Face, 6:39. Off, meaning a rapid breathing of great passion, anger, content, continence. So we put these Hebrew words together, and this verse translates, and it shall be accomplished at that day or season when Gog shall enter into the country of Israel to make war against them, says Yahuah Alahym, that my fierce burning anger shall rise up in my countenance as a fury, a burning passion. Verse 19, jealousy. 70:68. Genah, meaning jealous or zealous. Fire, 7:84. Esh, meaning burning fire or hot. The wrath, 56:78. Ebra, meaning outburst of passion, anger, or rage. Spoken, 1696. Abar, meaning command, to destroy or pronounced. Surely, 38:08. law, meaning truly or verily. Day, 31:17. Yom, meaning space or time. Great, 14:19. Gadal, meaning exceedingly or mighty. Shaking, 74:94. Ra'ash, meaning earthquake, confusion, confused noise. The land, 127. Adamah, meaning country. So this would translate as, for in my jealousy and in the hot fire of my anger, I, Yahuah, commanded, truly in that space of time there shall be a mighty earthquake in the country of Israel. Verse 20, fishes, 1709, da'ag, meaning things which swim in the water. The fowl, 75:75, off, meaning birds which fly. Heavens, 64. Shema, meaning the sky or the heavens. The beast, 24:16. She, meaning living thing or beast or wild beast. The field, 77:04. Shadeh, meaning the soil or the field. Creeping, 74:31. Remez, meaning reptiles. Things, 1697. Dabar, meaning harmful or evil. The creep, 74:30. Ramas, meaning to glide or swiftly or to crawl. The earth, 127. Dama, meaning the ground or the land. Men, 120. Adam, meaning rudely complexion or human beings or mankind. Upon, 59:21. Al, meaning to reside on. Face, 64:40. Benah, meaning that portion of the earth which turns, hence or face. The earth, 127. Same as above. Shake, 74:93. Ra'ash, meaning to tremble, to shake through fear or to move. The presence, 64:40. Panah, meaning continents or to face. Mountains, 20:22. Har, meaning hills or mountain ranges. Throne, 20:40. Harak, meaning to pull down, broken or destroyed, to overthrow, to utterly destroyed. Down, 20:40. Harak, same as before. Steps, 40:95. Madrak, meaning the step or unacceptable. Places, 47:25. Mama, meaning locality. To fall, 50:37. Nafal, meaning to cast down, to cease, to fall down, to overthrow, to throw down. Every, 36:05. To null, it's null, meaning everyone. Wall, 23:46. Chalma, meaning the wall of protection, as in a walled city. The fall, 53:07. It's the same, means the same as the wall. Ground, 776. Eretz, meaning the earth. So if we translate this, so that the things which swim in the waters, and the birds which fly in the sky, and the wild beasts of the fields, and all reptiles that reside on the land, and all human beings that are on the crust of the earth, shall shake through fear of my countenance. We can go back to verse 18 and see where Yahuah says his fury will come up in his face or his countenance. And the mountain ranges shall be utterly thrown down. Place will fall down, and every walled city shall fall to the earth. You begin to see how much stronger and clearer scripture becomes when we go to the original Hebrew. It would be difficult for translators to put the full meaning of these verses into English words. Verse 21, call, 71:21. Gara, meaning to call out or to make proclamation, to cry unto. The sword, 27:19. Cherak, meaning a cutting instrument, a sharp weapon of war. Noted its destructive effects, can sometimes mean other weapons as well. Mountains, 20:22. Har, meaning a hill country. The idea of tearing down as in making a quarry. Man's, 376. If, meaning a man as an individual. The sword, 27:19. A weapon of war, not necessarily a cutting weapon either. Against, 59:21. Al, meaning relations. Brother, 251. Ek, meaning kindred. So to translate, and I, Yahuah, will cry out for destructive weapons of war to be used against him, Gog. Throughout all the land, says Yahuah, every individual weapon of war shall be turned against his relatives and kindred. Verse 22, to plead, 8199, shafat, meaning to pronounce, to sentence, to punish, to avenge, to execute judgment. Against, 5921, al, or meaning against, or on, or over. Pestilence, 1698, deber, a destroying plague. Blood, 1919, dam, meaning blood. Rain, 4305, medar, meaning cause to rain upon. Bands, 102, agaf, meaning crowds of troops. Many, 7277, rab, meaning exceedingly great numbers of people. 5971, am, meaning congregation, tribes, or nations. Overflowing, 7857, shataf, meaning to gallop over, to conquer, to thoroughly wash away. The rain, 4305, means the same as above. The cause to rain upon. Great, 1378, gabeth, meaning no clear definition is given here, but it comes from an unused root word, which means to freeze or freezing crystals. Hailstones, 68, eben, meaning stone. Fire, 784, esh, meaning burning or flaming or hot. Brimstone, 1614, gorfith, meaning resinous burning sulfur. Translation, and I, Yahuah, will execute judgment upon him, Gog, with a destroying plague and with flowing blood. And I, Yahuah, shall cause to rain upon Gog and upon the exceedingly great numbers with him, the tribes and nations, a rain of giant ice crystals and burning, fiery hot, resinous sulfur. Almost a lot like what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, which I seen of that actually that sulfur embedded in the ground, and it was actually igniting in the ground, and it's burned so hot it was blue, and it was actually burning into the sand around it. Very, very hot it burns. Verse 23, magnify, 1413, gadad, meaning a root word taken from 1464, which means to crowd upon, to attack, or to overcome. To know, 3045, yadad, meaning to recognize, acknowledge, or have the respect. Eyes, 5869, ayin, meaning sights. Nations, 1471, to go, meaning the heathen peoples. But Almighty Yahuah has had a controversy with Esau and Edom from the very beginning. In Romans 9:13, we read where Yahuah said, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. Then in Malachi 1:24, we read of Esau's attempt to regain his lost birthright. I have loved you, Israel, says Yahuah. Yet you, Israel, say, wherein have you loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Says Yahuah. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom says, we have impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. This says Yahuah of hosts. They, the Edomites, shall build up, and I, Yahuah, will throw down. And they, Israel, shall call them the Edomites, the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahuah has indignation forever. I believe that's what we know today is Islam. The Arabs, their beliefs come out of the Ishmaelites. In that day, the prophecy of Zechariah 14:21 will come true. And in that day, there shall be no more the Canaanite, the Edomite, in the house of Yahuah of hosts. So we can see as Yahuah puts a ring into the nose of Gog in verse 3 of Ezekiel 38 to draw them with all their military power and alliances into the land of the true Israel in order to destroy them forever. A little study of this chapter indicates that Gog's decision to launch this massive attack will be some new military device which they believe will make them invisible and invincible, and against which we will have no defense. Possibly an EMP, could be a nuclear device, who knows? There's already much speculation that they have and are perfecting this weapon now, which could be either or. Ezekiel 39 shows how these and other like them have been weighed in Yahuwah's balance and have come up wanting. Verse 1. In this verse, we see where the prophet Ezekiel is ordered by Yahuwah to prophesy against Gog and his assembled nations. Yahuwah's message to them is, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Meshech and Tubal. Verse 2, to turn, 775, Shuab, meaning cause to retreat, send back, or to cause to turn. Back, 7725, the same word as turn. Leave, 8338, to shows, meaning to annihilate. The sixth, the same word as leave, meaning 1/6. Part, 2677. Chetzi, meaning the half or the middle or two parts. The cause, 4941. Mishvat, meaning a sentence or a normal decree. Come, 5927. Allah, meaning to ascend up or to come up, to rise on, to the north. 6828. Tafan, meaning the north quarter or a gloomy, unknown place. Parts, 3411. Yarak, meaning to rear, borders, or to coast. The bring, 935. To bow, meaning to go or to come against, or to go to war, to invade. The mountains, 2022. Har, meaning hills or country, sometimes used figuratively to mean people, tribes, or nations. So when we translate that, it says, and I, Yahuwah, will cause you, Gog, and the alliance to retreat, and I will annihilate you and leave you 1/6 of your force alive, and will cause you to ascend up from your northern parts, and will bring you upon the tribes of Israel. Verse 3, Smith 5221, Anaka, meaning to strike severely. A bow, 7198. Kosheth, meaning a bow for shooting, an archer. A left, 8040. Shmo, meaning the left hand. The English word left is used 17 times in the book of Ezekiel, but it has 8 different meanings. The cause, 5414. Nathan, meaning to make or to strike. Arrows, 2770 or 2671. The chetz, meaning a piercer, a spear, a dart, an arrow, a weapon of war. The fall, 5307. Nafal, meaning to cast away, to smite out. The right, 3225. Yamin, meaning the right hand. So we translate, and I, Yahuwah, will severely strike your weapons of war from your left hand, and will make your missiles fall from your right hand. Missiles, bullets, grenades, etc. Verse 4, fall, 5307. Nafal, meaning to die or to perish. Mountains, 2022. Har, meaning hills or nations. Revenus, 5861. Ayet, meaning the birds of prey. Birds, 6833. Was tifar, meaning fowl. The sort, 3671. Kanaf, meaning to refer to the outer edges of the bird's wings, or to the wings of an army. Beast, 2416. Shai, meaning wild beast. The field, 7704. Shadeh, meaning country or fields. Devoured, 402. Akla, meaning consumed, eaten for food. Translate, you shall fall on the hills of Israel, you and all of your troops or armies with you, and all the nations with you. I, Yahuwah, will give you unto the fowl of the prey, unto the wings of the armies, and to the wild beasts of the field, so they will devour you as food. Verse 5, fall, 5307. Nafal, meaning to die or to perish. The fall, 59:21. Al, meaning upon or among. Open, 64:40. Panah, meaning open. The field, 7704. Sadai, meaning country. So translate, you shall perish in the open country, for I, Yahuwah, have spoken it, says Yahuwah. Verse 6, Sen, 79:71. Shalak, meaning to bring or to spread. Fire, 784. Ek, which means a burning or a fiery, flaming or hot. Magog, 40:31. Magog meaning the barbarous northern region, hence either Russia or, again, Turkey, in that area up there. Among, 996. Ben, meaning within. To dwell, 34:27. Yashab, meaning to remain, to abide, or to inhabit. Carelessly, 983. To batak, meaning feeling of security, assurance, or confidence. Isles, 339. Ay, meaning coastlands or islands. And to know, 30:45. Yada, meaning to recognize, to acknowledge, to be aware of. Translate, and I, Yahuwah, will bring a burning of Magog, and within those peoples who live in apathy, without care, in the coastlands and in the islands, and these people shall acknowledge that I am Yahuwah. Yahuwah says he will purge out from among Israel the rebels, and them that transgress against him. Ezekiel 20:38. The word purge, which is 1305, means to purify, to cleanse, to purge out. So it could mean that Yahuwah will wipe these apathetic Israelites into shape and purify them. Verse 7, holy, 69:44. Kadesh, or meaning to be set apart. The name, 80:34. Shem, meaning character, honor, or authority. Known, 30:45. Yada, meaning to recognize, to acknowledge, to declare, to respect. The mist, 34:32. Tava, meaning among. People, 59:71. Am, meaning tribes, nations, or troops. Let, 75:03. Rapha, meaning leave or let alone. Palut, 24:90. Sha'al, meaning to profane, to break one's word, to defile, prostitute. Holy again, 69:44, to set apart. The name, 80:34, which is Shem, which is his character, his honor, his authority. Name, Yahuwah. More, 57:50, odd meaning, against, at all, or any longer. Heathen, 14:71, the goy, meaning foreign nations. The no, 30:45, same as no above. LORD, which is the number 3068. The name that should be written there is Yahuwah, meaning the self-existent one, the creator. Holy, 69:18, means set apart. 1, 259, which is Echad, meaning alone or only. Translate, so I, Yahuwah, will make my sacred character acknowledged among my Israelite nations, and I, Yahuwah, will not leave them alone to defile my sacred name any longer. And the foreign non-Israelite nations shall recognize me as the creator, the sacred one alone among Israel. Notice this verse does not speak about a single nation, such as the Hebrew nation. It speaks of the nations of Israel, those which are promised to Father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob centuries ago. In Genesis 17:4-6, Abraham, the father of the Israelite people, was given a promise by Yahuwah. When he said in verse 4, as for me, Yahuwah, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. You shall say, this is reference to the Arab people who are also Abraham's descendants. But Yahuwah clarifies this when he narrows down these nations in verse 16 and says to Abraham's wife, Sarah, she shall be the mother of nations. Remember, these promises were made to Abraham 1,200 years before there were any people on the earth who were known as Hebrews. Then, to be doubly sure the truth would be known, Yahuwah gives the same promise to Abraham's grandson Jacob in Genesis 35:11, when he says, the nation and the company of nations shall be of you, and the king shall come out of your loins. Then in Genesis 48:19, we see Jacob, Israel, as he passes on his promise to the youngest of Joseph's son, Ephraim. His youngest brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become multitude of nations. Verse 8, behold, 2009, Hina, meaning low or to see. To come, 935, bow, meaning to befall, to cause to, or to invade, to go to war. Done, 6213, Asha, meaning accomplished, executed, to come to pass. The day, 3117, Yom, meaning age. Spoken, 1696, Debar, meaning arranged to speak or to talk. Translate, see, I have caused it to come to pass, saith Yahuah, this is the age of which I have spoken. Verse 9, they, 1992, Shema, meaning many, or those. To dwell, 3427, Yashab, meaning to remain, to dwelling or habitation. Cities, 5892, Ayar, meaning a city or a town. Fourth, 3318, Yatsha, meaning to break out, to go out, to issue out. To set, 1197, to bore, meaning to consume with fire, to burn or to set on fire. Fire, 784, Esh, meaning burning, fiery or flaming and hot. To burn, 5400. Nasag, meaning to catch on fire, to burn or to kindle. Weapons, 5402. Nashag, meaning offensive arms, arsenal or weapons. Both, 8147. Sha'im, meaning both. The shields, 4043. Migna, meaning small field or small shields or defensive weapons. Bucklers, 6793. Tishna, meaning large shields. Bow, 7198. Gesheth, meaning the bow as an offensive weapon. Handstraves, 4731. Magla, meaning a rod for offensive striking. Spears, 7420. Ramath, meaning the lance, a javelin or a spear. To burn, 1197. Bore, meaning to consume with fire. Fire, 784, same as mentioned above. 7, 7651. Sheba, meaning an indefinite number by implication, a week. Years, 8141. Shana, meaning a whole year. Translate, and many which remain in the cities and towns of Israel shall issue out of the cities and will consume with fire and burn the defensive weapons and the offensive weapons, and they will burn them for 7 whole years. It's a lot of weapons they're burning for that long. There are several interesting assumptions we can take at this point. One is that the prophets looking far into the future could not know about tanks, guns, and artillery, so he described a terrible war which would take place in terms his readers could understand, which is exactly what I believe he's trying to describe here with his limited understanding of what we have today. Verse 10, wood, 6086, etz, meaning trees, timber, or sticks, out, 4480, minni, meaning from among or out of, a field, 7704, at sadeh, meaning a countryside, a field, or a ground. Neither, 3808, lo, meaning never, much less, out of. The forest, 3293, ya'ar, meaning thickets, forest, or woods. To burn, 1197, ayar, meaning to kindle, consume, to cause to burn or to set on fire. Weapons, 5402. Neshag, meaning offensive weapons or arsenal. Fire, 784. Esh, meaning fiery, flame, burning, or hot. The spoil, 7997. Sha'el, meaning booty or prey. Those, 1992. Hema, meaning whosoever, the same, such as, or those. Spoiled, 7997. Sha'al, meaning plundered, to make a prey or to spoil. To rob, 962, bazez, meaning to take a prey or despoiled. Robbed, 962, means the same as above. So to translate, so Israel shall take no firewood out of the open fields, nor cut down any wood out of the forest. For Israel shall burn the offensive weapons with the fierce flame, and Israel shall take a prey of those who sought to spoil them, and spoil those that robbed them. Verse 11, come, 1961, Hayah, meaning come to pass, to be accomplished or to happen. Day, 31:17, Yom, meaning space of time. The Gog, 1463, Gog, meaning northern nations. A place, 47:25. Magog, Megamon, meaning country, place, or space. Graves, 69:13. Kibra, meaning the burning place. Valley, 15:16. Geh, meaning the gorge with steep sides. Passengers, 56:74. Abar, meaning make a way, overrun, the passage to take away. East, 69:26. Kigma, meaning in front of, eastward, or forward part. The sea, 32:20. Yom, meaning a sea, a large body of water, a big sea, sometimes a large river, western. Stop, 26:29. Chakam, meaning to stop, the noise or the muzzle. Passengers, 56:74. Abar, meaning enter or go through. To bury, 69:12. Gabar, meaning to bury. Gog, 1463. We've already covered that. Meaning northern nations. The multitude, 1995. Haman, meaning crowd or company. To call, 71:21. Gara, meaning addressed by name. The valley, 15:16. Geh, meaning gorge. Haman Gog, 1996. Haman Gog, meaning the multitude of the northern country. So to translate this, it shall happen in the space of time that I, Yahuah, will give unto that northern country a space there for a burying place in Israel, the gorge of the passage eastward of the great sea, and it, the smell of decaying bodies, shall muzzle or stop the noises of those who pass through. And there Israel shall bury Gog and all his company, and Israel shall call it the gorge of the army of the north. Verse 12, 76:51. Sheba, meaning literal number 7. To cleanse, 28:91. Tahar, meaning to purify or decontaminate. Months, 23:20. Kodesh, meaning by implication a month of 30 days. Translation, and the house of Israel shall take 7 months to bury the dead soldiers, that they may decontaminate the land. Verse 13, people, 59:71. Am, meaning congregation, tribes, nation, or men. The land, 776. Eretz, meaning the country or nations. To bury, 69:12. Gabar, meaning to bury. The renown, 80:34. Shen, meaning a memorial, an honor. A day, 31:17. A yom, meaning a time, a day, or an age. Glorified, 35:17. Kabed, meaning to receive glory or honored. Lord, 136, means Adonai, or it means master. So to translate, yea, every person in the land shall bury those that follow Gog. And it shall be, Israel, a time of honor, the day when I shall be honored, says the Master Yahuah Alahym. Verse 14, Sever, 14, Tubal, meaning the separate. Continual, 85:48. Tamid, meaning constant, regular, or daily. Employment, 59:75. Amid, meaning to be employed or to serve. Passing, 56:74. Abar, meaning covering. To bury, 69:12, Gabar, meaning to enter or to bury. Passengers, 56:74, Abar, meaning those that cover wayfaring men. Buried, 69:12, meaning the same as above. Those, 1992, Hema, meaning those. The remain, 34:98, Yathar, meaning are left, preserved, or left behind. Face, 64:40, Paneth, meaning a surface or a pond. To cleanse, 28:91, Tabar, meaning to purify, to decontaminate. And the end, 70:97, Getesh, meaning end. Search, 27:13, Chakar, meaning to penetrate, to search out or to seek. So to translate this, and they, Israel, shall separate out men for regular employment, whose task will be to cover the land and bury those bodies that are left behind on the surface of the land. For 7 months shall these men seek out the dead. Verse 15, the passengers, 56:74, Abar, meaning to pass through, wayfaring men. The pass, 56:74, same meaning as above. Through also means the same. So these could have been condensed into one phrase which said, when the wayfaring man passes through the land. Seus, 7200, Ra'ah, meaning to lean on, to mark, to spy, or to view. Bone, 6106, Estem, meaning extension of the body, a body or a bone. To set, 1127, Bana, meaning to set up. In chapter 39 alone, the English word set has 3 different Hebrew meanings, 1197, 1129, and 5414. Signs, 6725. Sitzum, meaning a guiding pillar or post. The barrier, 6912. Gabar, meaning burying party. Valley, 1516. Ge, meaning gorge. Haman Gog, 1996. Haman Gog, meaning a multitude of Gog. So translation, any wayfaring man, travelers, who pass through the land and sees a body or a bone of a man, he shall set up a guiding post by it, until the burying party shall bury it in the gorge where the multitude of Gog are buried. Verse 16, name, 834 or 8034, which is Shem, meaning name. Hamana, 1997. Hamana, meaning the multitude of Gog. Cleanse, 2891. Tahar, meaning to purify or decontaminate. The land, 776. Eretz, meaning the nation. Translation, and also the name of the city shall be Hamana, and the multitude of. In this way shall Israel purify the land or the nation. Verse 17, LORD 136. Yahuah, meaning the self-existent one. Speaks, 559. Omar, meaning say, command, demand of, or to speak. Every, 3605. Ka'al, meaning everyone or all. Feathered, 3671. Kafa, or kanaf, meaning feathered or flying. Fowl, 6833. Sithfar, meaning bird. Beast, 2416. Shai, meaning wild beast, or the field, 7704. Shadeh, meaning country. To assemble, which is 6908. Rabats, meaning to gather, to assemble, or to come together. Yourselves, 5315. Nefesh, meaning any breathing creature or animal, yourselves. Come, 935. Bo, meaning to gather. Gather, 622. Akaf, meaning to gather for any purpose, gather together. Every, 5437. Chabab, meaning be about on every side, be set, around about. Sacrifice, 2077. Zabak, meaning laughter or offering. Great, 1419. Gabal, meaning high or mighty. Sacrifice, 2076, means the same as above. Mountains, 2022. Har, meaning hills or hills, 398. Akal, meaning to eat, consume, or to feed. On the flesh, 1320. Basar, meaning flesh. Or to drink, 834. Shata, meaning to drink. The blood, 1818. the dam, meaning blood, which when shed causes death, hence lifeblood. So to translate, here we see Messiah as the avenger, the destroyer. And you, Ezekiel, son of man, this says Yahuah, the self-existent one, commanded all the feathers birds and all of the beasts of the country to come together for my slaughter, that I, Yahuah, will kill for you, even a mighty slaying on the hills of Israel, that you, the birds and the wild beasts, may feed upon the flesh and drink like blood of my enemies. Verse 18, eat, 398, ahal, same as the flesh above. Flesh, 1320. Mighty, 1368. Gabar, meaning above or chief or strong. To drink, 8354. The blood, 1818. The princes, 5387. Nasai, meaning exalted ones. The earth, 776. Eretz, meaning the land, country, or nations. Rams, 352. Ayil, meaning mighty men. Note that this word does not refer to a male sheep or goat. Goat, 6260. Atud, meaning leaders of the people. Again, it would be well to notice that these he-goats, not animals, but military leaders. Bullocks, 6499. Apar, meaning young with wild strength. Fatlings, 4806. Mering, meaning gross, domineering. Again, not a reference to animals as the King James seems to indicate, but to powerful leaders. Bashan, 1316. Bashan, meaning an area east of Palestine and the Jordan River. So to translate, you, birds of prey and wild beasts, shall consume the flesh of the chief men, and drinking the blood of the exalted ones, of mighty men, military leaders, if you will, and of the leaders of the peoples, of the young and domineering men from that area east of Palestine. Once again, it is extremely important for us to remember that the rams and the he-goats, fatlings, and the bullocks mentioned in this verse has absolutely nothing to do with animals, but are descriptions of people who will fall in this slaughter. Verse 19, eat, 398, akal, meaning consume, devour, to feed on. Flesh, 1320, basar, meaning bodily flesh of man. Full, 7654, soba, meaning satisfied, had enough of. The drink, 8354, shata, meaning drunk or to drink as at a banquet. Blood, 1818, dam, meaning life's blood. Till, 5704, ad, meaning until, for as long as. Drunken, 7943, shikdown, shikrown, which means to be drunken or intoxicated. Sacrifice, 2076. Zabak, meaning killed or slaughter. So to translate, and you, birds and beasts of prey, shall devour the flesh of men until you have had enough, and will be drunk with their life's blood, until you become intoxicated with the slaughter that I, Yahuah, have killed for you. Notice that the destruction of the enemy is accomplished by Yahuah, not the Israelite people. Verse 20, filled, 7646, Shabia, meaning filled to satisfaction or sati. Table, 7979, Shuchong, meaning by implication a meal. Horses, 5483, Kup, meaning a horse. Chariots, 7393, Rekab, meaning cavalry or a multitude of riders. Mighty, 1368, Gabar, meaning warrior, champions, or powerful. Men, 582, Enosh, meaning mortal or hence a man. Men, 376, Ish, which means a male person, a champion, a mighty man of war. 4421, Milkama, meaning those who fight a war, warriors. LORD, 136, Adonai, means master. And God, which they have in there, which is 369, which is actual name of Yahuah, and it means the self-existent eternal one, the true name of God, the creator of all. So the translation, thus you birds and beasts of prey shall be filled to satisfaction at my meal, with horses and with multitudes of riders, with the powerful champions of the battle, says Adonai, Yahuah, the self-existent, eternal one. Verse 21, Set 54:14, Nethan, meaning bring, direct, perform, or to show. Glory 35:19, Kabod, meaning splendor or honor. Among 996, Bain, meaning in, within, or among. Heathen 1471, Goy, meaning foreign nations, nations, people. C 7200, Raha, meaning approve, consider, or to look on. Judgment 4941, Misbach, meaning a verdict, a sentence, a judicial pronouncement, justice. Executed 6213, Asha, meaning accomplished, committed, fulfilled, brought to hand. 3027, Yod, meaning power, strength, or terror. Laid 776, Shin, meaning brought or committed. So to translate, and I, Yahuah, will show my splendor within all nations, and all nations shall consider my sentence that I have brought to pass, and my power that I have committed upon them. Verse 22, so 3651, which is the Hebrew word ken, meaning rightly, for as much, in like manner, or surely. A house 1004, Beveth, meaning family. To know 3045, Yada, meaning ascertain by seeing, acknowledge, declare, discover, have knowledge of. Lord, again 3068, which is the name of Yahuah, meaning the self-existent one. Also referred to in the next sense, 3069, God, which has the same meaning. Day 3117, Yom, meaning age or time. Forward 1973, Allah, Hala, meaning forward. To translate, in like manner shall the family of Israel know by seeing that I am the self-existent eternal one, their Alahym, from that time forward. Verse 23, Heathen 1471, the Goy, meaning nations, foreign nations, Gentiles. To know 3045, Yada, meaning to observe, to acknowledge, to be aware of, or to comprehend. The house 1004. Bayith, meaning family or house. Went 935 with the bow, meaning carry, departed, cause to enter into, to invade. Captivity 1540, Gala, meaning to exile, to denude. The custom was to strip captivities. Iniquity 5771, Avon, meaning sin, fault, a moral evil. Because 5921, Al, meaning accordingly, because of, iniquity. 5770, Avon, meaning the same as above, sin, fault, or moral evil. Trespassed 4063, Sedaras, meaning made of iron. Against 413, El, meaning denoting motion against, towards, or upon. Therefore 3651, Ken, meaning for which cause, howbeit, straightway, or therefore. To hide 5641, Kathar, meaning conceal, to hide, to keep secret. Face 6440, Pena, meaning face, favored, or presence. Gave 5414, Nathan, meaning delivered up or recompensed. Hand 3027, Yod, meaning power, terror, or under. The enemy 6862, Tashar, meaning adversary, enemy, or foe. Fell 5307, to fall, meaning cast down, to die, to cause to fall, to overthrow, to overwhelm, to perish, or to slay. All 3650, Kamar, the darkness or gloominess of the sword. 2719, Cherub, meaning cutting instrument, axe, a dagger, or a sword. Just to translate, and the nations, both those of Israel and the heathens, shall observe that the family of Israel were carried into exile because of their moral evil. Accordingly, they sinned, for which cause I concealed my presence from them and delivered them into the power of their adversaries. So were they all killed with the weapons of war. Verse 24, accordingly, 59:21, all, meaning house of, or by reason of, uncleanliness, 29:32, dama, meaning religious impurity, filthiness, uncleanness, according, which is 59:21, transgressions, 65:88, feshat, meaning national, moral, or religious rebellion, sin. Done, 62:13, asal, meaning accomplished, bruised. And we can see Hebrews 12:6, which says, for whom Yahuah loves, Israel, he chastens and scourges every son whom he receives. You can also see Deuteronomy 8:5, you, Israel, shall also consider in your heart that as a man chasteneth, corrects his son, so Yahuah, your Alahym, chastens you, Israel. Hide, 56:41, kathar, meaning concealed. The face, 64:40, peneth. So to translate, because of their religious impurities and filthiness, and by reason of their national moral rebellion, have I, Yahuah, bruised them and concealed my presence from them. Verse 25. Therefore, Strong's 36:51, holoclus, meaning complete to the end, holy, absolutely perfect. Lord 136 is Adonai, meaning master. Now 62:58, atah, meaning at this time, straight away. To bring, 77:25, shob, meaning make, bring home again, come again, deliver again, or rescue. Again, 77:25, the same as bring. The captivity, 76:22, shah, meaning destruction or desolation, and have, 1961, epomino, meaning to remain, to abide in. The mercy of 73:55, rakan, meaning compassion, love, or to show mercy. To whole, 36:05, no, meaning whole of or all. House, which is 1005, bayith, meaning family. Will, 53:14, nafash, meaning to breathe upon. Jealous, 70:65, gona, meaning zealous in a bad sense or envious. Holy, 69:44, gona, meaning set apart. Name, 8034, Shem, meaning character or authority. So to translate, be absolutely perfect. This says Adonai Yahuah. At this time, I will deliver again the destruction of Jacob, or Israel, and will show mercy on all of the family of Israel, and will be very zealous for my sacred character. Verse 26, after, Strong's 310, anchor, meaning after or seeing. Have, 1961, haya, meaning come to pass, accomplished, or follow. Born, 53:75, nakah, meaning suffered, receive, or accepted. Shame, 36:39, klima, meaning disgrace, reproach, or shame. Trespasses, 4604, matal, meaning transgressions or sins. Whereby, 834, ashir, meaning which or where. Trespassed, 4603, ma'al, meaning acted treacherously or transgressed. Against, 413, el, meaning against or towards. When, 31:17, yom, meaning in the day or age, dwelt. 34:27, yashab, meaning to dwell or to remain or to live safely. 983, betat, meaning securely, carelessly, or safely. In the land. 127, adamar, meaning country or land. None. 369, ayin, meaning nothing, afraid. 27:29, charad, meaning terror, fear, or tremble. Translation, after the Israel nations have suffered their disgrace and all of their transgressions which they have acted treacherously towards me, in the day when they, Israel, lived carelessly and securely in their land, and nothing made them afraid. Verse 27, when 834, Ashir, meaning because, again, 77:25, Shuwab, meaning to turn, to return to the starting point, again, to bring back home or deliver, is people, 59:71, and meaning the tribes of Israel, the nations or people. Gathered, 69:08, Kabat, meaning to assemble or bring together. Enemies, 341, Oeb, meaning adversaries, foe, or enemy. Lands, 776, Eretz, meaning the country land. Sanctified, 69:42, Kadesh, meaning pronounced ceremonially or morally clean, purified, or kadosh, holy. Sight, 58:69, Ayin, meaning sight, knowledge, or presence. Many, 72:77, Rab, meaning exceedingly much or the multitude of nations. 14:71, Goy, meaning tribes, people, heathen nations. Translation, because I brought them, Israel, back to their starting point from among the nations and have assembled them out of the enemy's countries and am pronounced kadosh or holy in them in the presence of a multitude of people. Verse 28, then 227 Az, meaning at that time, therefore, now and then, no. Strong's 30:45, Yada, meaning observe, recognize, be certain, and have knowledge. Cause, 54:14, Nathan, meaning caused, ordained, recompensed, or suffered. Led, 9:34, Bo, meaning to come, enter into, or to invade. Captivity, 14:73, Galal, meaning carry away, captive, or remove. Among, 4:13, El, meaning a nation, or among. The heathen, 14:71, the Goy, meaning nations, heathens, or tribes. Gathered, 36:64, Kanak, meaning gathered together. In your own, 53:15, Neshesh, meaning breathing creature, life, lust, pleasure, or soul. In the land, 127, Adamar, meaning country or land. Have, 1961, Haya, meaning love, have. Left, 34:98, Yathar, meaning to leave, remain, left behind, or let remain. There, 80:34, Sham, meaning there. So to translate, at this time shall Yisrael have knowledge that I am Yahuah, their Eloah, who suffered them to be invaded and led into captivity among the heathens. But I have gathered together the Israelites into their own country and have left none remain behind in these places. Verse 29, neither, 38:08, La, meaning much less, neither, or never. Hide, 56:41, Kathar, meaning conceal, hide, be absent from, or to keep. Your face, 64:40, Penah, meaning countenance, or face, or favor, or presence. Any, 36:05, Kol, meaning in any manner. For 57:50, Ad, meaning further, any longer, henceforth. Poured, 62:10, Shakpah, meaning spilled, to extend, to pour out, or to shed. The spirit, 37:07, or Ruach, meaning the breathe, or the spirit. House, 10:04. Bavith, meaning family. So to translate, much less will I keep favor in any manner from Israel, for I, Yahuah, have poured out my Ruach HaKodesh upon the family of Jacob, or Israel, says Yahuah, the self-existent one. And this is confirmed in Joel 2:28. And it shall come to pass after that I, Yahuah, will pour out my Ruach upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon the maidservants in those days shall I pour out my Ruach, or the Spirit. Verse 32. And it shall come to pass that whoever shall call upon the name of Yahuah, the self-existent one, shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahuah has said, in the remnant whom Yahuah shall call. Hallelujah. I pray that this has maybe allowed you to see these events of today being spoken of in scriptures, so that we can clearly see these events and these peoples and nations that are coming together in agreement, and they all hate Israel. And one day they will come as they are being drawn. And they're assembling now, I believe, in agreement. So someday in the near future, very soon, I believe, we're going to be seeing these events playing out. And when you do, you'll have a much clearer understanding of who it is that's coming and what Scripture is speaking about this matter. So I just pray, Yahuah, that you'll continue to open our ears and our eyes, that we may see clearly these things that are happening around us and how they line up with your word, your scriptures, so that we are not taken by surprise, and so that we do not have the fear when these things begin to unfold, that we'll actually recognize and we'll see and be prepared and readied for what's to come. Our confidence and our hope is completely in you, and we know that you will deliver your people. And we thank you for that. Todah, Rabbi Yahuah. May Yahuah keep you. May he make his face shine upon you. May he give you his shalom and his peace. May he guide you and direct you in the days ahead and lead you to his perfect shalom in him, your perfect amana, faith, that trust in him completely, no matter what's going on around you. His wings of protection are surrounding you. May Yahuah continue to block you on this Shabbat and throughout this week. That your will be done, Yahuah. We block your name through and in Yahushua Mashiach. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Block your name, Yahuah.